What's up, y'all? Welcome to Nomads No Worries. Today we have an amazing show. We're going to be talking about Kenya, the beautiful African country. You're going to hear all about that and my time there. I'm joined by my co-host, Jack. What's up, Jack?
Not a lot, Steve. It's a little hot where I'm at, but I'm getting through it. I'm loving summer. How's your summer
Dude,
going?
I just want to say that you look like Carlos Alcaraz right now. You look like a tennis star. So you're looking good, man.
Wow. Thanks, man. I actually did play tennis this morning. This is a legitimate tennis shirt. So,
I knew it. Yeah, you're legit. I heard you're traveling to Denver tomorrow. Is this true?
that's right, Steve. Yeah, I'm gonna be getting to breathe that fresh mountain air. Maybe drink some incredibly heavy beers where I can only have like one and a half before I'm full.
IPAs. I don't know if you've noticed this. Maybe you're not an IPA guy. You don't order them very often, but in Latin America, they call them IPAs. Like they like read the word. They make it like a word instead of three letters. Instead of IPA, it's IPA.
I mean, that makes sense. I'm surprised they don't say IPA.
Yeah, actually. I don't know what's up with that. But yeah, I had an IPA the other day.
I don't know if it's just because I'm older or what, but like I really love a good lager these days. I feel like they're light, they're refreshing. I can crush a few of them. But with these IPAs, it's like hazy space invader juicy banger, and it's just like I have one, I can't eat my nachos that I ordered with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they don't pair well with a lot of. They'll try to tell you, oh yeah, this pairs great with a burger, but really it just tastes like shit no matter what you pair it with.
Yeah, IPAs pair well with a nap. That's about it.
Nice. But no, man, my summer is not summer because I just arrived in a new country, Chile,
Wow.
and it is literally winter here. But this was the only time we could go all year. We kind of had these big plans to go all through South America, and they kind of fell through. So we're like, look, even though it's going to be winter time, we're going to go to Chile in June. So this is like the coldest that it ever gets here. But really, it's like 50s, 60s, and it's very sunny. So it's not too bad during the day. At night and in the morning, it's a little chilly. But
No
I did
pun
find
intended.
someone, yeah, a little, dude. I had to like stop myself from saying that to one of the locals the other day because I didn't want to confuse them. I was talking about the weather with them. I was like, yeah, it's a little chilly here. I mean, cold, because like it literally is chilly. It's Chile, like that's the name of the country. So I don't want them to think I'm just talking about. Oh yeah, it's chilly here. Yeah, it is Chile, dude. That's where you're at.
Yeah, like welcome, gringo.
But someone on the like beach boardwalk by my house was selling a bunch of winter clothes. I got this sweater. It was $2 each or two for $3. So I got this and a nice sweater vest for $3. I mean, it was a steal. I mean, look at this thing. Like it's so festive.
It feels like, you're ready for Christmas, if you ask me.
Christmas in June. I wasn't sure how that worked. I was like, so since it's winter, does that mean Christmas is happening now? But I guess it's still in December either way.
It is kind of interesting, right? I mean, the Bible sort of places Jesus more in a wintry setting. So, I would figure maybe they would flip it to make it a little bit more, realistic for people down there. But
Yeah, I'd love to see some Christmas lights on these palm trees, like that iconic Corona commercial. But yeah, Chile so far, great country, super developed. They say this is the most developed country in South America, other than Uruguay.
okay.
But Uruguay is so small, like no one really gives a fuck, right? But
Uh,
Chile's a pretty big like economy and stuff, so they're like, yeah, we're the most developed.
so, Steve, who makes money off selling a $2 shirt? This is what I don't understand. Who's making money off?
I was wondering that too. I was like, did you just find these in the literal garbage? So no matter what, you profit? Like even if it's you're making $1 profit?
Yeah,
I
like,
don't
is there
know.
like a defect on there? Like, is like the reindeer missing an antler or something? I don't know. Like,
It's really warm, but I will say I washed everything before I wore it, so just in case.
ooh, that's a good habit to get into. I'm kind of an animal. Sometimes I don't do that. If I get a shirt at the store and I like want to wear it that night, like sometimes I'll just put it on. Is that
No, I'll do
sus?
that too with like a fresh shirt from like a nice store, yeah, I'll wear it straight up. But this was not like this was very clearly used. I
Right.
bought it for $2. So yeah, I'm gonna wash this shit. I don't know where it's been. I don't want to get a skin disease.
Yeah, that would not be Chile if you got a skin disease. Man, that's a
Yeah,
good one. Okay, wow. I cannot wait for the Chile episode, by the way, guys. I'm really
dude.
excited for that one. Yeah.
That'll be a good one. I'll be sure to eat every flavor of empanada so I can kind of give my full review on that.
And maybe you could see like how much money would it cost you to put a complete outfit together? Like could you get an outfit together for $5?
Jack, you may have missed my Instagram story yesterday. I literally put out like a steal this look post. So I bought this new hat on the same beach boardwalk. It was like this big hat thing that like
Okay.
goes over my ears. It's like a big winter hat,
Okay.
$10. And the sweater, obviously. And then my Airbnb hosts, they met us like when we checked in, and they were like, here's a couple of neck warmers. And it's like the Chilean flag is like the design of it. And that was free. So,
Wow.
for $11, $12, I got like a full winter warmth outfit.
Wow, awesome. Okay, well that's great.
So yeah, I'm feeling good. But I'm ready to talk about Kenya, a place that's warmer than this.
All right, yeah, let's do it. I mean, honestly, I have a few questions, Steve, right off the bat, if you're cool with that.
Dude, hit me as hard as you can.
Let's just maybe start from the top. You just casually spent 6 weeks in Kenya. Like, why did you decide that?
Jack, that's a great question. First of all, let
Thanks.
me just tell you, you're a really good question asker.
Thanks.
And my answer to that is, I had already been to Saharan Africa, right? And
Mm,
Morocco,
yeah.
but I really wanted to experience sub-Saharan Africa. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Get away from the deserts, get more into the savannas. And I was already planning on going to Cape Town, but like everyone goes to Cape Town. So I want to do something a little bit different. I was like, I want to go to, not Morocco, not Cape Town, but somewhere a little more real Africa. When you think of Africa, you think of the Lion King, you
Right.
think of a place like Kenya. So I wanted to cross that off the list.
Okay. So do you feel like going to Kenya did scratch that itch for you?
It definitely did. And I want to say it was quite the culture shock when I first arrived. I've been to a lot of poor countries, developing countries, but this hit different. Like right when I got there, it was just, I don't know, just the infrastructure, something about it was like nothing I had ever seen before, even in Latin America or something like that. Just telephone wires hanging everywhere. The city has the nickname of Nairobbery instead of Nairobi. So that's where I lived, was in the capital city of Nairobi. And I remember my aunt and uncle, I was on a big family FaceTime when I was planning on going, right? Like a
Okay.
full extended family FaceTime with the aunts and uncles and everything.
Was this like a holiday FaceTime, or they're just
It
seeing you
was,
off?
yeah, something like that, some kind of event. Maybe it was someone's birthday. I don't know. And, my aunt and uncle, like, they're pretty well traveled. Like, they've been on a lot of safaris. Like, they've been around, but they also live in Topeka, Kansas, right? So
Okay.
there's that, right? So they're still Kansans.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, I'm going to go live in Kenya for a little bit. And my aunt was like, oh, you're not going to live in Nairobi, are you? In front of my whole family. And I had to just lie to everyone. I was like, no, I'm going to be out in like the safe area.
Wait, why wouldn't you just tell her? Why wouldn't you just say, yes, I'm in Nairobi. I'm going to Nairobi, Like,
I don't know, just the way she said it, like she was so terrified. She's like, please tell me you're not going to Nairobbery. And so I don't know. I just didn't want to like start some shit with my whole family. My aunts and uncles, they're all like in their 60s. I just didn't want to scare people. I didn't want to give someone a heart attack, right? If you scare people that are in their 60s, they could die.
yeah,
So
definitely. I mean, and if you haven't gotten life alert yet, like that's a real serious issue. So, I mean, okay, so they tell you not to go. You go anyway. I'm super proud of you. Was it as scary as she said? Like, was it as sketch? I mean, when you first got there, did you want to leave immediately? What was the vibe?
there was like a little bit of a vibe of like, did we make a huge mistake? I mean, we were walking around and we were the only white people there. So it was just like we felt really out of place, right?
Right.
Um, and like I had a coworker who lives there. He's from Nairobi. I met up with him and he gave me the whole spiel like, don't go out at night, that whole thing. So yeah, it definitely was a sketchy feeling. Like I lived in the nice neighborhood of the city
Okay.
called the Westlands.
Okay.
I lived in a nice high-rise building with like a rooftop pool, a gym. It had 24-hour security. It was super nice, but I don't know. At the same time, I was just like, if this is the nice neighborhood, like this is I don't know. This country has a long way to go. We'll say that.
Okay, I mean, so are you talking more like Jungle Book or urban jungle with Wi-Fi, would you say, Steve?
I'd say it was urban jungle with Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi was pretty good. Like Nairobi is known as kind of a tech hub in Africa. Like it's kind of the main tech hub in East Africa. So yeah, decent Wi-Fi. I will say I didn't go to the actual downtown of the city like the whole time I was there. I just stayed in my neighborhood and maybe another like nice neighborhood. I went to downtown once to get picked up for a safari. And that, I spent like 5 minutes in the downtown and I was like, all right, I don't need to go here again. It was just a little rough.
Like what was rough about it? Give us, lead me to water here. Was it like poverty everywhere? Was there fires in the street? Like what's the situation?
I'd say it was trashy, definitely some poverty vibes. I mean, dude, it was like we were waiting to get picked up for our safari for like, 15 minutes while they loaded up the car. And it was just like every 30 seconds, someone would come up to me and ask me for money, which is fine, right? But, I only have so much change to give out. Like by the time we left for the safari, my pockets were empty.
I would say you're not Santa Claus, but judging by the shirt you're wearing right now, you kind of look like it.
Yeah, if I was wearing this, I would have been screwed. They're like, where's your bag of presents? Huh, reindeer boy?
Yeah, that would make me nervous for sure. Yeah, that would be wild. Wait, so I mean, you lived in this building. I mean, was it a nice building? You
I'd
said
say
it
it
had
was
Wi-Fi, so an elevator? Like, what's up?
super nice. It was, yeah, elevator. I was on one of the top floors. I had a really nice view of the city.
Okay.
The gym was amazing. Like it had like, it was one of those rooftop gyms with like a 360 view of everything. So no, it was a beautiful building. We did have power outages like nearly every day. I think we just talked about power outages on the last episode. So that was kind of annoying, but there were co-working spaces nearby if needed. One thing I will say, funny story. So my bed in my apartment that my partner and I shared was literally so uncomfortable that like we could not sleep on it. It was like rock hard. Like it was like sleeping on sheetrock. And
Okay.
it was so uncomfortable that I went to a nearby mattress store and bought a pillow topper that like goes over the mattress to make it softer.
Wow.
Yeah, we just literally couldn't sleep. And I don't even know how much I spent on it, like maybe $100 or maybe less, but I did tell my Airbnb host that I bought the mattress topper and they reimbursed me for it. So that was awesome.
Oh, that's great. That's a little more Western amenities, I guess you could say. Okay, so was it like a neighborhood? Is it like an urban type of neighborhood, or like the suburbs, or like what's are there restaurants around? Was there like, I mean, you said you only went to this area and then another area. Is that because it was sort of everything you wanted to do? Drink IPAs, eat
Yeah.
food. It was all there.
Yes. So it was an urban neighborhood. It was not the suburbs. I mean, we could walk to like the heart of downtown in like 20 minutes or something if we wanted to. So it was an urban neighborhood. This is like the trendy, this is where all the restaurants were. This is, if you are a tourist and you're staying in Nairobi, like this is where you stay. But again, like I said, it's still kind of rough. Like all the businesses, all the restaurants were behind large walls or gates. So it
Okay.
wasn't exactly charming or cute. It's not like Europe where when you're in the like cute restaurant bar neighborhood and everything looks all nice. Like no, like if you wanted to go to like a cute restaurant, like you had to like knock on the door and like this giant gate, like security guy would open it. Even to go to the mall, like there were several malls, you had to go through a metal detector every time, which honestly, that's fine. Maybe America should do that too. But yeah, this was a highly secure city.
Okay. Did you ever feel unsafe?
No, it It was totally fine. I just felt out of place. I just felt like a target every time I was walking around. But, the neighborhood we were in was, pretty wealthy professionals, like, normal just working class people doing their thing. They weren't looking to mess with me. If like I said, if I lived in the heart of downtown, I would have felt probably unsafe. This neighborhood was fine, and we didn't go out at night, so it was all good.
That's cool. So, I mean, now, were there other expats, Western expats at all, or were you really the only sort of Western person, non-African there?
Day to day, really didn't see very many white people. There were some here and there. I would say if we went to like a nice restaurant, yeah, there'd be maybe some other Westerners there. But for the most part, if I was walking around, I would see zero to, maybe one or two other whites. The mall, though, there were a couple of really nice malls, and that was like the gringo headquarters of Kenya. If you wanted to hang out with more Westerners, just go to the mall.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then just sort of like more abstractly, right? Like, is the city sort of like, are there like a lot of parks and places to walk? Is it very like urban where you kind of got to drive everywhere?
It's walkable. The thing is, there's just not many sidewalks, or the sidewalks are shitty. So you're kind of fighting cars when you're walking around.
Mm.
But they did have Uber, and it was super reliable. The cars were shitty. They didn't have air conditioning, things like that. But it was reliable to just grab an Uber. And so we would just do that all the time to get around. But yeah, there's lots of parks, nice things to see in the city. Nairobi is actually nicknamed the Green City in the Sun due to its lush vegetation. So a couple parks we went to, I'll tell you. So there's a city park, which was kind of run down, but it was full of monkeys. So we went and like fed monkeys. That was fun. And then there were a couple other parks where you had to pay admission to get into them. And those are the nice parks. Okay. The paid parks.
Okay.
So those were awesome. We loved walking around those. The big one is Karura Forest. It's like a huge park with the paid admission. Like, it's huge. Like, you can bike around this thing. There's like lakes in it. There was a wedding going on when we were there. And it was super nice. Also full of monkeys. So yeah, that was a vibe.
That sounds great. I mean, are monkeys mischievous though? I mean, I would imagine it'd be cool to see them, but like I wouldn't want them to mess with me, you know? Like what if they like take my water bottle or something?
Well, they'll mess with you. I mean, like Alita's purse, like they jumped on her and were like trying to get into her purse. You talk about Nairobbery, like we weren't worried about the people. The only people that messed with us were the monkeys.
And it's funny, right? Because usually when you steal a purse, you just take the purse and run away, but they were just in her stuff. They're just like, we're going to go through the purse first to see if it's worth it, right?
Exactly. And we were feeding them earlier, and maybe she had food in her purse. I'm not sure. But yeah, these guys had no personal boundaries. Like, they were climbing on our heads, touching our faces. They didn't give a shit.
But they were gentle, or I mean, did they ever like pinch your ear or like give you a wet willy or something?
They didn't hurt us. They didn't give me any wedgies or swirlies or anything like that. Yeah, they were gentle for the most part. But yeah, they were bouncing around, just bouncing off of us and shit.
Okay, so I think I get the picture here. It's kind of a rough spot, up and coming, developing country, but maybe the most jarring developing country you've ever been to. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yeah, probably so, I'd say.
But I guess everyone goes to Kenya for the safaris, right? So, I mean, what was that like?
Safaris. Now, that was the most incredible thing I did in Kenya by far.
Okay.
Can't recommend that enough. So, the first big safari that we did was like a big weekend trip at the Masai Mara National Reserve, which was epic. It's a super iconic national reserve. Like, if you've ever watched nature shows on Animal Planet or Discovery Channel, shit like that, like they have a lot of content from this national reserve. It was nice. We stayed at this nice camp that's like walled in to keep the animals out, but we stayed in this nice tent. The tent was like, it had a shower and a toilet in it. Like, it wasn't like camping in Colorado like we would do.
So glamping, some glamping stuff.
Very, very much glamping.
Was it nicer than your apartment?
It was about, like just as nice, I'd say.
Wow.
But it was not like it was all inclusive. So like at the camp, they gave us all of our meals there for the weekend. So that was nice. But yeah, the safari was super worth it. I think it was like $700 or so for the the weekend. But like once we got into the park, it was immediately worth the price of admission. Like at first we were pissed off because our safari driver was kind of an idiot. He kept getting lost. Like on the way from Nairobi to the safari, which was like 3, 4 hours away, he
Okay.
got lost, like taking us to our campsite to check in. I don't know if he was new or what. So we were like getting pissed off, like getting ready to ask for like refunds and shit like that. But when we finally got into the park, immediately just elephants, giraffes, like everything was just all around us. And like it felt like a dream. I don't know, like you always see these animals on TV or maybe at the zoo, but seeing in the wild was life changing. It didn't
Wow.
feel real.
Okay, cool. Okay, so wait, just quick question though. What was kind of the food they gave you to eat? I'm just kind of curious as
It was African food, I would say. If you look up like what Kenyan food is, it was that. So
now, I mean, I know you eat a lot. Like, did you feel full? Like, were you okay?
yeah, I was good. And like I said, it's kind of an all-inclusive situation. I could go up for some other little treats that they had, but they kept it coming. They gave us big servings, which I really appreciated.
Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. So you get to the campsite, the like, I guess base camp or something. I'm just making that up. And then you see all the classic animals, the big five, immediately.
Yeah, pretty much everything, lions, cheetahs. We saw a cheetah like eating a dead animal. It was badass, dude. They're not supposed to get out of the car, but he did let me go out of the car to pee a couple times, so that was
That's,
thrilling. He's like, I'll keep an eye out for lions, don't worry. And we also got out to go look at hippos, but they had us go with like a guy with a giant gun. And
wow.
we walked up to the river to look at the hippos, and this dude had a giant gun in case a hippo attacked us. He would just fucking murk it.
Wow, that is honestly kind of scary. That's kind of cool though. So is
It
the
was cool.
typical safari activity you just drive every day? You're just driving
You just
and you stop to
Yeah,
eat?
you just drive around. That's pretty much it. And honestly, it gets a little bit boring. Like a full day, you're out there for 6 hours. Or by the end of it, it's like, all right, there's another zebra. The guy's like, look, zebras. I'm like, all right, I'm kind of over zebras at this point. It's like weed being the gateway drug, right? Like, okay, weed is a zebra, but like meth is like a cheetah attacking a wildebeest. Like, I need some more meth by the end of it. But it was good, man. I mean, not all of the big five are in Masai Mara. The only one that's not is rhinos. But I
Okay.
but I did see rhinos on our other safari. Can I tell you about that?
I shoot.
So the other safari we did a couple weeks later was in Nairobi National Park,
Okay.
which, get this, dude, was less than 15 minutes driving from our apartment in the city. And it has basically the entire big five. I think just elephants aren't there because they're just like too big. But
Okay.
Nairobi National Park, dude. So Nairobi is the only capital city in the world with a national park inside it. So yeah, dude, just
Wow.
imagine like driving 15 minutes from downtown Kansas City or Denver and you're seeing lions and rhinos. Like it was insane. So we were seeing these iconic animals, giraffes with like the skyline of Nairobi in the background. It was
Wow.
unbelievable. I mean, we were like in the city and these things are just running around at this national park. So that was really cool.
Wait, so is it possible for like the giraffe to like wander into downtown on accident? Like, or not really?
I was wondering that. Like, maybe I'm sure they just don't want to, right? Because like they're
Right.
scared of that shit. But they
Right.
totally could. Like, they're free to roam. And there's like a highway, right? There's like a big highway that kind of separates the city and the park. So I feel like they're not going to fuck with crossing that. But they could, dude. I mean, don't be surprised if you're walking around Nairobbery and you get attacked by a lion. Again, not worried about getting robbed by the local people,
Right.
but might get mauled by a lion.
I don't honestly know what's scarier. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess like getting mauled by a lion would be, but like humans also have like guns. So
True, like I could fight a lion maybe, or at least try, but I can't really fight a gun. I'm losing that battle every time.
Yeah, it's like, can you do lions like, with the sharks? So you got to look them in the eye, right? Or like, they
Mhm.
teach in Colorado, like brown lie down or something, Like, does those kind of techniques work at all on the Big Five?
Let me ask you this, Jack. Which big
Okay.
five of Africa do you think you could most likely take in a fight? Like if it was
What is,
attacking you, so it's lion,
okay.
leopard,
Okay.
rhinoceros, elephant, and the African buffalo.
Okay. Well, I feel like any of those, if they actually wanted to fight me, would just instantly kill me. But I guess if you're asking, like, which one could I get away from? Okay. Like, if I could escape,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I kind of feel like a giraffe.
Well, that's not part of the big five, but
Oh,
good answer.
okay, lion.
Leopard, rhino, elephant, African buffalo.
All right, I'd probably say put me up against the elephant. They just in every movie they're chill. I mean, we've all seen Dumbo. Like I don't know. Like it seems like people like when you go to the zoo, the zookeepers love the elephants.
They
Uh,
are chill. They're gentle giants, but they did tell me that elephants kill more people than lions in Africa.
wow. Okay. Now, but is
Not
that like a numbers thing though? Like,
Yeah, it
is it
could be. It could be. And it's not like they're unprovoked. They don't do it when they're unprovoked, right? Like they don't just attack humans. It's only if like humans are in their space. And it's usually by accident, right? They accidentally trample somebody. They're just huge. So if you run into an elephant, like you're just kind of fucked because it's gigantic. But lions, they don't really attack people. Like they're just lazy and like they lie around. They're always lying around.
wow, yeah. I'd be
So
lying. Yeah. But okay, this is what I don't get though. Who made up this idea of the big five? Why are they chosen? Like, why is it a cheetah not in there, but a leopard is?
great question, Jack. Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
It was originally from hunting. Okay, back when you could hunt all these animals, most of them you can't really hunt anymore, except for maybe the buffalo.
Okay.
But they were the five most difficult like game to hunt, okay, in Africa.
Okay.
So, and the most dangerous, okay? So if you're trying to
Okay.
hunt these things, like they might hunt you. Whereas cheetahs are actually, they're more like a house cat. Like they never attack humans. If you look at a cheetah, it looks like a house cat. They're really small. So it just like wasn't that dangerous for hunters to kill cheetahs or whatever. But yeah, these other things, they would fuck you up. So even though like a cheetah might be more iconic these days than like a stupid
Hmm.
buffalo. That's, these just kept that name, the Big Five. Even though it's not associated with hunting anymore, it still sounds cool to just be like, yeah, Big Five.
Maybe they can kind of take a page out of the whole wonders thing. Maybe we could have like a new big five. We got the old big five. Like we could have the new big five. I'm thinking like silverback gorilla, cheetah. Okay, I'm thinking I don't know, help me out here, Steve. Stallion, you know what I mean? Like
Dude,
zebra.
I got to tell you about the small five.
Okay, holy
When
shit.
I was
Okay.
on safari, I saw this little turtle, and my guide was like, oh, that's a leopard turtle. He's part of the small five.
Junior varsity.
And I guess the small five, each one is named after one of the big five. Okay, so we have the lion ant, the the buffalo weaver. I'm not sure what a weaver is.
Yeah, wait,
The
what? Okay, I'm looking this up. Buffalo weaver.
the elephant shrew,
Oh, a
the
buffalo is a
leopard.
bird.
Oh, it's a bird. Okay, the
Okay.
leopard tortoise and the rhino beetle.
The rhino, that sounds kind of gross, dude.
And then last one for you, Jack, is the ugly five. Okay, the ugly. That's
Okay.
That's a hyena, a vulture, a warthog, a wildebeest, and a stork.
A wildebeest. Okay, I feel like I know that one from David Attenborough.
They're all pretty ugly, but yeah, they have their place.
Stork. I feel like a stork isn't that ugly, to be honest. Like, okay. I think they're being a little harsh, Steve. Like, why not?
Yeah,
Why is the spider not on there? I think spiders are pretty ugly.
they are, but they're too small. Like no one even they're like insignificant. They're like irrelevant.
Maybe it's too obvious, also. Okay, that's cool. Okay, wow. All right. Definitely got more than I bargained for on that one. That was good. So you said basically it's like You go on this safari and it's like SeaWorld immediately. You see everything right there. You didn't have to try very hard to see the 4 out of the 5 or whatever.
Yes, that is correct. Definitely in Masai Mara. I mean, that place is just crawling with animals. Nairobi National Park, we definitely had to drive around a little bit more, but they were still kind of just running around everywhere there too.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Okay, cool. So, all right. So I think I think I get it, right? I
Yeah.
get it. Well, I don't get it. I have to go see it for myself. But, I get it. Did you, I mean, in preparation for going to a country like this, did you have to do anything like maybe like, do some vaccinations or get like a visa or like, what was the process like to actually be able to get in the country?
Yeah, so no visa, I don't think, but we did get like 20 vaccines. We went to this place in Denver, and I swear this like doctor person we were talking to was like a salesperson. I swear they made commission the more vaccines they sell, right? Because they're just going through telling me how deadly everything is and how much I need each vaccine. So
Yeah.
yellow fever is required. So that one you need to get that before you can even enter the country.
Okay.
And that is actually, so that's a lifetime vaccine, and yellow fever is actually going around in Central and South America right now. So it's good thing I got that since I'm in South America. Another one we got was cholera. This one was a live vaccine, so we actually had to take like a pill. We put this pill, like several pills, in our fridge. We had to keep it cold because it was literally a live disease or a live virus in these pills.
Okay.
They made sure they're like, don't spill this, like don't, you can't like spill these out in the open, out in public, or like people will get cholera because there's literally a live virus in there.
Wow.
Now,
Okay. Sketch.
the one they really sold me on was rabies. I was like, I don't need rabies, it's fine. And they're like, okay, well, just so you know, it's a 100% death rate. They go, if you don't get this rabies vaccine, you will die 100% of the time. Maybe you could go to a hospital and they could save you, but like if you're in Africa, they may not have the resources. You may not be near a hospital. So that was the most expensive one. I think it was like $1,000 for the first dose, $1,000 for a second dose. If I get one more dose, then it's lifetime. So if I want to spend 3,000 total dollars, I'm free from rabies for life. But yeah, 100% death rate on that one.
Wow, that's expensive too. I'm surprised insurance doesn't cover that.
Nah, not when you're just like dicking around going on a fun safari. We also took pill vaccines for malaria and sprayed like all of our clothes with bug spray, this bug spray that like seeps into your clothing. So we did that before we went. And then we sprayed ourselves every day before we left the house just to really be protected from malaria.
Yeah, I feel like getting malaria would suck. A guy I studied abroad with told me about he getting malaria in Africa, and it was terrible, he said.
I heard it's horrible, but yeah, we took the pills for that. So we had to take those every day that we were there, like a week or two before we went, every day while we were there, and then like a week after we left, we were still taking malaria pills.
Wow, I bet you don't miss that. I bet you're glad that's over.
No, yeah, I'm happy to just walk around without malaria risks. So
Man, I mean, Steve, I'm proud of you also just for getting these vaccines in this kind of climate. I'm glad there's someone out there who believes in science still.
yeah, yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah.
COVID really prepped me. After
Yeah.
COVID and all that shit, I got that vaccine, and everyone said that would kill me. So since the COVID vaccine didn't kill me, I was like, you know what? Yeah, hit me with rabies. Let's go.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, just give me rabies. What a terrible way to go, huh? I wonder if you like foam at the mouth and stuff too, like or how do you go? Do you turn into like a
Yeah,
zombie, like an I Am Legend? You know what I mean with Will
yeah.
Smith? Like what happens?
I think you turn into a crazy zombie, try to eat people, and then you die.
Damn, yeah, that's not how I want to go down, honestly.
No.
Um, Okay, cool. So, the health stuff was good. I know you kind of mentioned briefly that it was like typical Kenyan food. You want to maybe explain like a classic dish or something you would kind of eat day to day for our viewers
Yeah.
back home in
So
America?
I would say that like a beef stew type of thing was very common for Kenyan food, but they had a lot of Indian style food. Okay, they have a lot of influence from Indian and like the Middle East. So they had really good sort of like there was a Syrian restaurant that I loved. But yeah, the Indian food was awesome. Like I would get biryani a lot, which is like a rice
Okay.
dish with different meats in it, and it's pretty spicy. So
Yeah.
I like that a lot. So yeah, I would usually crush that type of food when I went to restaurants. I also ate ostrich, like ostrich burgers, ostrich. What's that thing? What's those like sliced kind of meat
Jerky?
sandwiches? No, I did that on the pod, but no, this was like a slice. Oh, it was a Reuben. It was an ostrich Reuben, and it
Oh,
was like the best
okay.
Reuben I've ever had. So that was good.
Wow. Honestly, I am a Reuben guy. I love Reubens. I don't know what it is, but it's good stuff. Okay, cool. So I mean, kind of wrapping things up, I mean, would you go back? Are you happy? I mean, it sounds like you were happy you went, but do you recommend other people to go?
Totally. I highly recommend it. If you want to go on a safari, I think it's like one of the easiest destinations for a safari from the US. They have direct flights from New York to Nairobi. So that's the flight that we took. And
How long
Nairobi
was that?
provides a really, it was like 15 hours.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But and Nairobi gives you a good base, like a good starting point. Like I don't think every place in Africa has like a big city that's near the safari, so that's helpful that Nairobi is there for that. So yeah, highly recommend it. I mean, it's a great first safari if you're into that. Would I go back? Sure, but I'm in no hurry. I feel like I've been there, done that, and now there's other safari destinations and places in Africa that I'd rather go next. Like Serengeti National Park in Tanzania is amazing, and like the Delta, the Okavango Delta, which is
Okay.
in Botswana. But yeah, there's other places I'd rather go next to kind of cross off the list. But yeah, Kenya's awesome.
All right, this is my final question, Steve. Would
Yeah,
you say it was one of the weirdest or weirder trips that you've taken?
I would say it was a weird trip.
Wow, so you feel like you kind of lived up to our podcast motto with this one.
I did, every day you're telling everyone, all of our listeners, all of our viewers to take a weird trip at the end of every episode. And I think I
Yeah.
heard you say that so many times that it inspired me to take my own weird trip.
That's awesome. Honestly, that means it's working.
It is. You're changing lives out there, Jack.
Yeah, well, really, it was your hat. I just sort of commandeered it.
That's true. Yeah, that hat was great. When I got that hat, it was more about like taking like fun like camping trips in Colorado. I didn't know I would end up fucking hanging out with elephants and monkeys all the time, but here we are.
I mean, that's why you take weird trips. Shit happens.
That's good, Jack. Well, I think that's about it then.
Okay. Well,
Thanks, everyone. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Nomads No Worries Podcast and give us a 5-star review. Thank you.
and take a weird trip. Thank you very much.